I have to say that my grandmother has been wonderful the whole time. My dad, my brother Kate, and everyone else in the family. Reports say that Prince Harry broke down in tears when DNA tests showed an amazing new twist in the story of his father. Many people still think that King Charles was Harry's real father, even though there has been a lot of talk about it for years. An important lab's DNA test results, on the other hand, have shown that this theory is not true. The world is waiting to see what the future holds for Prince Harry and the monarchy as a whole, while the Windsors deal with the effects of this terrible news. Does this mean that Prince Harry will no longer be a royal? Come with us as we reveal the shocking DNA result that proved who his real dad is. Before we can understand this revelation, we need to see how it all began. When did Princess Diana start seeing other people? Before or during her marriage? Who is Harry's real father if not Charles? Watch out. The wedding of Charles and Diana. Diana met Charles for the first time in November 1977. Charles is the Prince of Wales, the Queen's oldest son and the next in line to the throne. Charles was seeing Sarah, who was older than her sister, when he was 29 years old. In the summer of 1980, they saw each other again at a country weekend event, where Charles first thought about Diana as a possible wife. When Charles asked Diana to go on a weekend sailing trip with him on the royal yacht Britannia to Cowes, the relationship took a step forward. Soon after, she was invited to Balmoral Castle, where she met his family, who lived there as members of the royal family. The Queen Mother, and the Duke of Edinburgh all gave Diana a warm welcome. Diana and Charles fell in love in London. On February 6, 1981, at Windsor Castle, he asked her to marry him. Diana said yes, but they didn't tell anyone about their promise for 2.5 weeks. The news of their engagement became official on February 24, 1981. Diana picked out her own engagement ring, which became famous. After getting engaged, she quit her job as a teacher's aide in a nursery and moved in with the Queen Mother at Clarence House for a while. After that, she moved to Buckingham Palace before the wedding, but her biographer, Ingrid Seward, said that she spent most of her time there by herself. Diana was a big deal because she was the first English woman in more than 300 years to marry the heir to the throne. The last woman to do that was Anne Hyde, who married James, Duke of York, who later became James II and VII. Before she got engaged, she was the first royal bride who had a job that paid money. Diana and Charles's first public appearance together was at a charity ball at Goldsmiths Hall in March 1981. That's where she met Princess Grace of Monaco. Diana married Charles on July 29, 1981, when she was 20 years old. Charles was 32 years old at the time. Mary became Princess of Wales. The wedding took place at St. Paul's Cathedral instead of Westminster Abbey because that church is more often used for royal weddings. The ceremony was called a fairy tale wedding and 750 million people around the world watched it on TV. In London, 600,000 people crowded the streets to see the couple. Diana made a mistake at the ceremony and said Charles' name backwards, Philip Charles Arthur George, instead of Charles Philip. It's important to note that Diana chose not to include the word obey in her vows, which got people's attention at that time. Her wedding dress, which cost £9,000, had a 25-foot train that made people remember it and added to the magical feel of the event. After the wedding, the Queen showed Diana how much she appreciated her with gifts. A very important piece of royal jewelry, Queen Mary's lover's knot tiara, was loaned to her. She was also given the emblem of the Royal Family Order of Elizabeth II, indicating that she is now officially a member of the royal family. A lot of people say that Charles and Diana's affairs caused them to split up. But is this really true? Could Harry's real father have had something to do with it? Their marriage is over because of Charles and Diana's affairs. After 5 years of marriage, Princess Diana and Prince Charles began to notice how different they really were, which made their relationship harder. The couple had a big age difference and very different personalities, which made it very hard for them to connect in any way. Diana began an affair with James Hewitt, the writing teacher, around 1986, and Charles rekindled his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, the woman he used to love. By 1987, everybody knew that Diana and Charles were unhappy together. Now that their unstable relationship was public, the media started to talk about how cold things were between them, calling them the Glums because they seemed uncomfortable around each other. Diana asked Camilla about her relationship with Charles at a 1989 birthday party for her sister Annabelle Elliot. After this encounter, there was a big change. The media quickly reported that the couple's relationship was unstable. Andrew Morton told Diana a big secret in 1992. It was Diana's true story, a tell-all book that showed her deepest secrets, like how she dealt with depression and a marriage that was a living nightmare. Diana's relationship with James Hewitt and Charles's secret relationships with Camilla Parker Bowles were both made public. The first times Diana and Morton said they weren't involved with the book turned out to be lies. Diana had been involved in secret by giving James Colthurst information. Diana made an admission after she died. Her true story told in her own words, this is an updated version of the book that came out after she died. It was a brave move for Queen Elizabeth II to throw a big ceremony for Charles and Diana while she was desperately trying to save their troubled marriage. Many attempts to step in and help didn't work, and the attempts to make peace eventually failed in some way. In the same way, Philip wrote letters that made it clear how strongly he disagreed with Diana and Charles cheating. He told her to see things from Charles' point of view, but Diana had a terrible time with those letters. Still, she was very thankful. In the early 1990s, private phone calls between Diana and Charles were made public, which made people dislike them even more. In 1992, tapes of Diana and James Gilby talking came to light. Then came transcripts of private conversations between Charles and Camilla, which became known as Camillagate. The scandals made things even worse for the royal couple, and in December 1992, John Major made it official that they were splitting up. After she broke up with Charles, Diana worked with Peter Sutherland to improve her public speaking skills. Diana had a crush on a mysterious person she met between 1984 and 1986, as shown in footage from 1992. Many people thought she was talking about Barry Manickee, her ex-bodyguard, even though she didn't say his name. People thought that Manicky's relationship with Diana had become inappropriate, so they fired him. Diana thought of him as her best friend ever and told him straight out that she would give up everything for him. She flatly rejected the idea that they were in a relationship with an intimate part. Diana's marriage fell apart quickly now. She became more and more sure that Charles was cheating on her, especially when it came to his relationship with Camilla. In 1993, she wrote a letter to her butler, Paul Burrell, saying that she thought Charles was seeing Tiggy Legeborg, his son's former nanny, and was planning her downfall to get together with Tiggy. Diana was hurt by how close Tiggy was to Charles and her boys, which made things worse. Charles did an interview with Jonathan Dimbleby on TV in June 1994 to try to improve his public image. During the interview, Charles admitted that he had rekindled his relationship with Camilla in 1986, but only after ending his marriage to Diana for good. Diana's relationship with James Hewitt was written about in Anna Pasternak's book Princess in Love that same year. Hewitt was the main source of information. The publication of the book was said to have caused Diana some stress, though. Pasternak said that Hewitt had helped her keep the affair from being talked about in Andrew Morton's second book. The News of the World reported in 1994 that Diana was allegedly dating married art dealer Oliver Hoare. This kept people interested in her personal life. In the end, Hoare's obituary revealed that they had been dating, but Diana insisted in public that their relationship was only friendly. The media also linked her to rugby player Will Carling and private equity investor Theodore J. Forsman, but these rumors were never confirmed by the real people involved. In the 1990s, Diana's personal problems with the end of her marriage were widely known to the public. This made her a symbol of both sympathy and controversy. The problems in her relationship with Charles, her relationships with other men, and the constant media attention on her life stayed at the top of the news, shaping how people saw her. But why did Princess Diana want to be buried with the truth? Was she trying to make sure Harry got to be a part of the royal family? Look at the video again to learn more. Prince Harry was born in Paddington, London, on September 15, 1984, in the Lindo wing of St. Mary's Hospital. His father was Charles, Prince of Wales, who became King Charles III, and his mother was Princess Diana of Wales. He was born when Queen Elizabeth II was in charge. Diana admitted that while she was carrying Harry, she felt surprisingly close to Charles. She told no one that she was going to have a son. Charles had been hoping for a daughter, but she didn't even tell him the news. Harry was christened on December 21, 1984, in St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. His name was given to him as Henry Charles Albert David. The ceremony was led with a sense of solemnity and occasion by Robert Runcie, who was Archbishop of Canterbury at the time. People who know him have always called him Harry, even though his real name is Henry. William made up the name Harold for his younger brother. Harry and William mostly grew up together in Kensington Palace in London and Highgrove House in Gloucestershire. Diana broke with tradition in some way by giving her sons experiences that aren't usually available to royal kids. She took them to faraway places like Walt Disney World and McDonald's, as well as nearby AIDS clinics and shelters for the homeless. Diana thought that her sons should know both the good and bad things in life. From a pretty young age, Harry would often go on fancy royal outings with his parents. In 1985, he went on his first trip outside of Europe, to Italy. He also took a few trips to Canada with his family, first in 1991 and then again in 1998. Charles and Diana, Harry's parents, officially split up in 1996 after a long marriage breakdown. Diana's short life ended suddenly in a terrible car accident in Paris in 1997. The event shocked the whole world the following year. Harry and William spent some time with their father at Balmoral Castle. Charles told his sons that their mother had died in a terrible accident. Prince Philip and Charles Spencer, who was related to his mom. When their mother died, Harry and William got most of Diana's £12.9 million estate, which was mostly her jewelry and other personal items. When the brothers turned 30, each had an inheritance of £10 million that had grown over the years. Also, they had to deal with a lot of Diana's personal things like her famous wedding dress, a bunch of diamond tiaras, jewels, letters, and more. Elton John's first candle and the Windsors and music were sung at Diana's funeral without any practice, according to family members. Harry and William were told in 2002 that their great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, would give them £4.9 million on their 21st birthday. By the time they were 40, they would be splitting an extra £8 million evenly. When Harry is taken out of the line of succession, a lot of the Queen Mother's money is likely to go to him. On the other hand, William's rise to power would bring him more money. This did not, however, guarantee Harry's place in the royal family. As rumors about his father started to spread, he decided to get a DNA test to find out for sure if King Charles was his father. What do you believe the test results showed? The DNA test that Prince Harry did. There have been rumors about Prince Harry's father for years, but most people just thought they were tabloid gossip. Still, the scary idea that King Charles might not be Harry's real father had a big effect on the British monarchy. Did these rumors have any truth to them, or were they just idle chatter meant to hurt the monarchy's reputation? Many people thought about this question, but until DNA tests were done, it didn't seem like a big deal. Even though Prince Harry couldn't understand why someone would want to take such a test, the results were even stranger than anyone had thought. It was a big deal when the DNA results came out because they would change the future of Prince Harry and the royal family. No one else knew about the exams. Few close friends and family members were with Harry when he opened the envelope and showed what was inside. As everyone got ready for what might happen next, the air was thick with tension. Harry learned the terrible truth when he saw the results. He did not have a real father named King Charles. The results of this study had a big effect on many areas. There would be a lot of drama in the public eye, and Harry also had to deal with the emotional turmoil of finding out that the man he had always called his father was not actually his father. It's hard to imagine how such a revelation would make people feel, especially Harry, whose sense of self is closely tied to his royal heritage. It must have been very upsetting to find out that the man you thought was your father for many years is not biologically related to you. But Harry's pain and confusion did not end when the test was over. The royal family, especially King Charles, had a hard time dealing with what happened after it happened because it could have caused them to fight with each other. King Charles always loved and cared for Harry like he was his own son, even when he wasn't sure about something. He was there for Harry when things were good and when they were bad. Plus, this new information could make their relationship end. Surprisingly, though, King Charles told everyone that he loved Harry very much. He could have stayed away, but he chose to say something that many people could relate to. We are linked by love, not blood. Harry and King Charles were related not because they were related genetically, but because they had been through many of the same things and loved each other. The royal family stayed together even after the shocking news came out. Showing that love can win over family ties, Harry searched for his real name. Harry was always known as the spare in the royal family. Even though he seemed glamorous, he had a lot of problems in his personal life. He had problems with his mental health, a bad relationship with the media, and was always being watched by the public. The way people saw him changed when they learned something new about his fatherhood. Harry had felt like he didn't belong for a long time, and now he had a good reason to question where he fit in his family. What's the point of being royal if your family may not really be royal? That being said, this wasn't just Harry's fight. It was Meghan's as well. The Duchess of Sussex stayed by Harry's side with poise when they were in front of a lot of media and public attention, which must have been very stressful. It was hard for Harry to find out the truth about his father. It forced him to answer important questions about his family, love, and worth as a person. During interviews, Harry talked openly about how this news affected him. He also talked about his relationship with King Charles, which showed that family is more than just biological ties. He said that his father has always been there for him, whether he was biological or not. That's what matters. His words served as a strong reminder that family is more than just genes, it also includes love and help. There is still a lot Harry needs to learn about himself. More questions have been raised since the DNA results came out. He's no longer just the backup. His legacy will be based on his character, not his royal bloodline. In order to find his own unique path, Harry has already taken brave steps. Along with his honest interviews and help for mental health, these things are all parts of his path. His next actions may have an even bigger effect now that he knows the truth about his parents. Is Harry really going to give up on the monarchy? This is possible. He has made it clear that his family is the most important thing to him, and he wants a personal life where he can make the world a better place. He could, however, also push for changes within the monarchy. Harry has always shown a desire to bring the institution up to date, and his background makes him a good candidate to lead the change. The things that might be on his mind are things like openness and mental health, which he has already shown a lot of commitment to. Still not sure what will happen to Harry, but one thing is certain. He is dedicated to living his life in line with his beliefs and his love for his family. Harry is building a reputation that shows who he really is, not just his royal background. Who else could be Harry's real father if not King Charles? Talk about Harry's real dad. Princess Diana was stuck in a relationship with Prince Charles that she was very unhappy with. Diana was loved by everyone, but she felt alone and wanted love. During her troubled marriage, she had several relationships with other men, including one with James Hewitt, a former British Army officer. Their famous affair began when Hewitt, who was in the household cavalry, was asked to show Princess Diana how to ride a horse. The news of their relationship spread quickly, and soon British newspapers were writing about it. Nigel Dempster's column in the Daily Mail first mentioned it, but soon the news of the world told the whole story. Hewitt was directly involved with Diana's life for many years. Several people say that their relationship lasted from 1986 to 1991. In her 1994 book, Princess in Love, Anna Pasternak wrote more about how complicated this situation was. Hewitt was a very important source for her work. The book said that Diana and Hewitt were dating for 5 years, which Diana later confirmed in her shocking 1995 interview with Panorama. The next year, David Green directed Princess in Love, a movie based on the book. Julie Cox played Diana in the movie, and Christopher Villiers played Hewitt. Hewitt went through a lot of emotional changes after the end of their relationship. He had a hard time dealing with his feelings after they broke up. During an honest conversation, he admitted that he was thinking about committing suicide. Before leaving for France, he told them about his plan to kill himself. His memory took him back to getting into his car and packing some things to take the ferry to France to fire himself. He said that his mother really felt like she had to go with him, and that if she hadn't, he might have fired himself. He also said that he owed her a lot because she saved his life. People became very interested in Hewitt again in 2003 when he tried to sell 64 letters that Princess Diana had written to him. He wanted £10 million for those letters. A lot of people don't like how he tried to make money off of his conversations with Diana because they think it hurt her trust in him. Sarah, Duchess of York, who used to be married to Prince Andrew, spoke out against Hewitt's actions. She said that betrayal is the worst act of disloyalty someone can do to another person. For years, there have been rumors in the media that Hewitt, not Prince Charles, might be the biological father of Diana's second son, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, who was born in 1984. Most of the rumors about this were based on how much Harry and Hewitt looked alike, especially their matching red hair. Still, Hewitt and Diana's close friends and family kept denying these claims. In 2002, Hewitt said that he and Diana only started dating after Harry was born. Diana's Royal Protection Officer, Inspector Ken Worf, agreed with this story. He wrote about it in his 2002 book, Diana Closely Guarded Secret. Hewitt said the same thing over and over in interviews, like in 2016 and 2017. He was sure that a direct look at the timelines showed that he could not be Harry's dad. He said that Harry's birthday is September 15, 1984, which means that he was probably born around Christmas 1983. In fact, Hewitt had not met Princess Diana until the summer of 1986, which was longer after that. Diana also never said that Hewitt was Harry's father. Instead, she often said that Harry's unique red hair came from her family and called him her little Spencer. The other secret love of Princess Diana was close friends with many famous people, including Elton John, Liza Minnelli, George Michael Jackson, and Gianni Versace, whose funeral she attended in 1997. Many of her close friends thought that British Pakistani heart surgeon Hasnat Khan was the love of her life after she died because they were so deeply in love. Diana is said to have called him Mr. Wonderful herself. Diana went to Lahore in May 1996 at the invitation of Imran Khan, who is related to Hasnat Khan. There, she met Khan's family in secret. Hasnat Khan was very private and kept to himself. Diana even lied to the media when they asked about him. There are different stories about who broke up with whom after a relationship that lasted almost 2 years. Diana is said to have been very upset when Khan broke up with her, but Khan said in the inquest into her death that Diana was the one who chose to end the relationship in 1997. A man named Paul Burrell used to be Diana's butler and also said that Diana broke up with him in July 1997. He said that Diana's mother, Frances Shan Kidd, didn't like the idea of her daughter dating a Muslim man, which might have made her decision different. 4 months had passed since Diana last talked to her mother, which is when she died. However, it is said that her relationship with her distant stepmother got better during this time. Diana started dating Dodi Fayyad, the son of Muhammad al-Fayyad, after she broke up with Khan. Muhammad al-Fayyad had hosted her in the summer of 1997. Diana had planned to take a vacation with her sons in the Hamptons on Long Island, New York, but the trip had to be canceled because of safety concerns. After deciding not to go to Thailand, she agreed to go to the south of France with Fayyad's family and stay at his heavily guarded compound. Muhammad al-Fayyad also bought the Jonakal, a 60-meter yacht for Diana and her sons to enjoy. Later, journalist Tina Brown said Diana's relationship with Fayyad and Lavani was a way for her to make Hasnat Khan, whom she still loved very much, jealous. After Diana's death, Burrell, journalist Richard Kay, and her voice coach Stuart Pearce all said that she was thinking about buying a house in the US, possibly to start a new chapter in her life away from the attention of the British media. So, even though Diana's relationship with Fayyad got a lot of attention, in her last years, her personal life became even more complicated because she was thought to have still been deeply in love with Khan. If this news gets out, what do you think the public will think about the monarchy? A turning point for the king or queen? There has been a split in the public since Prince Harry released his DNA results. Some people feel sorry for him, while others are angry or skeptical. Harry's fans praise him for facing a tough truth. For them, he is a symbol of strength and someone who is willing to break the rules. Because he is always looking for the truth, which they like. His commitment to being real stands out to them. On the other hand, people who support the monarchy think that Harry's actions are a betrayal. They say that the royal family stands for stability and believe that the DNA results should have been kept secret to protect the royal family's reputation. These people think it's important to keep the monarchy's traditions alive and think it's bad when those traditions are threatened. Conspiracy theorists have been speculating about Harry's family tree for a long time, which makes things even more complicated. His DNA test has only added to the rumors. There are now a lot of different theories on social media. Some people say the DNA results are not real. As a result, the monarchy is getting more attention during this time of change. People all over the world are talking about Prince Harry's fatherhood, which makes people wonder about the future of the monarchy. The younger generation wants the royal family to be more open and forward-thinking, more in line with modern values of openness and responsibility. Because of this, many people are wondering if the monarchy can still work in today's world, where keeping secrets is harder. The royal family has been involved in scandals before, but this one seems different. When you question the monarchy's lineage, you are questioning its very identity. If there are big questions about the royal family tree, it might make people talk more about how much they support the monarch. It's possible that some people will start to support democracy over the monarchy. Finally, this issue is more than just Prince Harry's personal story. It raises important questions about the monarchy's future and its ability to change in a world where honesty and openness are becoming more valued. If you like this video, please click the next button and share it with your friends.